All right, good afternoon, councillors, staff, and members at the back. A special welcome to Canowindra High School students, Yeovil High School, Yeovil Central School and Marling Central School students. Welcome to our May ordinary meeting. Please be advised that this council meeting is being recorded. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being recorded. Please ensure that if and when you speak, you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Cabonne Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. The recording of this meeting will be made publicly available on Council's website. Just a reminder also, we have Councillor Newsome zooming in, so welcome to Councillor Newsome on our technology.
Thanks, Kevin.
Right, I'll call the first item, which is applications for leave of absence. Could I have somebody move that, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Trevors. I have three actually. One from Councillor Nash, who's at another conference, and Councillor Davison is also at a conference, and also the General Manager, Brad Burns. Could all those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Trevors, seconded by Councillor Batten. Does anyone have anything to declare? Councillor Oldham.
Items 15 and 16 in noting, perceived conflict of interest, pecuniary.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Item 25.
Item 25. By Councillor Walker. Does anybody else have anything to declare? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 3 is declaration for political donations. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, second by Councillor Weaver. Anything to declare? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. All right. Do we have these? Yes. All right, we have a Youth of the Month presentation.
They're all yours, aren't they? They're all yours. Sorry.
Claire, come forward, please. Welcome, Claire. Claire is our Youth of the Month for May. Claire Wright attends Canowindra High School, where she is currently school captain. At the completion of her HSC, Claire would like to study science with the aim to help farmers with sustainable practices on their land. Claire was selected to participate in the National Youth Science Forum in Canberra. The program aims to educate students in Year 12 with a passion and interest in science and encourages them to pursue this field. Claire was one of 10 students accepted into the 10 for 10 Leadership Dialogue program in 2020. Throughout the 6 months program, Claire was mentored by Federal Member for Clare, Mr Andrew Gee, MP. In December 2020, Mr Gee took to Parliament to speak about the people in his electorate. It was here that Mr Gee read constituency statements that was written by Claire. Throughout the program, Claire was displayed exceptional leadership skills and gained invaluable experience. Claire was also accepted to represent the Central West as a Rural Youth Ambassador for Rural Inspire. As part of this program, the Youth Ambassador travelled to Parliament House, where they presented their ideas to the Education Minister and the Minister for Youth and Employment. As an extension of the Youth Ambassador program, Claire co-presented a youth forum to the Year 7 to 10 students from Canowindra High School. The goal of this was to promote a strong student voice at Canowindra High School. Claire is an outstanding role model for her peers and younger students. Her quiet demeanour and respectful interaction with all members of the school community is highly valued. On behalf of Cabonne Council, I would like to congratulate you, Claire, and present you with the Youth of the Month.
Thank you. Just thank you for nominating me, and I'm proud to be representing the community in the way that I can. Yeah, thank you.
Well said. Okay, now I'd like to invite Canowindra High School, Rory Borland and Jackson Stacey to come forward and address council. Welcome to you both.
Good afternoon, Mayor Beattie and Cabonne Council members. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Wiradjuri people, the traditional custodians of the land which we meet today, and pay my respect to the elders past, present and emerging.
Canowindra High School and the Canowindra community would like to thank you all for your continuous efforts in supporting our local town and improving the lives of our small community.
I'm Rory Boland, a current Year 11 student at Canowindra High School. I live on a farm on the outskirts of Goolagong and have been involved in the Canowindra community for many years now, especially during my high school years.
I'm Jackson Stacey, a current Year 11 student. I've lived in Canowindra for most of my life and have benefited from and enjoyed the tight-knit, welcoming community that makes Canowindra such a good place to be in.
I'd like to begin by thanking you all for giving us the opportunity to address you at your meeting to hopefully improve our local facilities. This afternoon we'll be talking about what we believe could be improved in the Cabonne area for current and future generations.
The Canowindra Library is a facility in our community that we believe could be improved for all the ages of the community. The library is currently a very valuable resource that isn't being used to its full potential.
Today we are proposing the idea to revamp our library. When talking to our fellow students about this idea, we got a lot of feedback on ideas to improve the space. They mostly said things such as
A more inviting space, increased opening hours, and a space to be able to study as a small group. We all believe that the library should be a safe and efficient place to complete homework, assessments and study for all students, but also a place where the elderly can go if they need help with online services, or where younger students can go if they need tutoring or if anyone wants a book.
Currently, there isn't a welcoming place for the students of Canowindra to study and complete their assigned tasks outside of school. This may be due to the lack of physical space in the building.
Improvements that we are suggesting be made are a possible extension of the building to create more physical space, a youth study space where they have access to desk space to work together, as well as a whiteboard so they are able to share ideas and their knowledge.
Adding additional computers so more children are able to work at the same time. Making the space more inviting by painting the walls and adding coloured furniture. This will add a lot of value to the space as the youth will feel welcome and vibrant in the building. Better use of this space or increasing the space itself will allow us to provide these features and overall improvement.
With your help and support, we can create a comfortable, productive environment between the stress of school and the comfort of home, allowing students to reach their highest potential and hopefully improve the relationships between the students of our time, as well as helping our older generation with tasks and having local history information available to our community and visitors.
We both believe that every child should have an equal opportunity when it comes to education and educational resources, but sadly this isn't always the case. All families have a different socio-economic status, and this factor shouldn't lead to the children failing subjects purely because their family isn't able to support them doing homework and ensuring online tasks are complete.
This improvement and upgrades to the library will also provide more attractions for out-of-towners and tourists. It can give families a place to visit and enjoy and create further cash flow within the community.
Jackson and I would like to very much thank you all for taking the time and listening to us, as well as Molong and Yeovil Central Schools, and for taking into consideration the thoughts and ideas the youth have in your council area, as well as your ongoing support for our community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I now ask Yeovil Central School, Rowdy Porch and Claire Smith to come forward, please.
Good
Good afternoon, Mayor Kevin Beattie and fellow council members. Our names are Claire Smith and Rowdy Porch, and we are here today representing the Yeovil community. We acknowledge that we are on Wiradjuri Nation.
Thank you for inviting us here today to raise issues of importance in our town, as we were unable to attend last year due to COVID-19. We appreciate you listening and considering our ideas in the past. For example, our request for additional paths to be placed around town. A new footpath was installed in 2018 and has had major benefits for our community.
We would like to thank you for the new play equipment at the Oval. It has been a great addition to our town. We have seen an increase in local and visiting families gathering there, as it is an inviting and positive environment. The newly installed fence around the playground has increased the safety of children as they are protected from cars on the road.
We would like to present you today with some of our ideas for improvements and additions to our small town of Yeovil. We have gathered these ideas from students and staff at Yeovil Central School, students from St Columba's Catholic School, and from members of the Yeovil Preschool.
Firstly, there are many areas around town that we believe would benefit from additional pedestrian crossings, specifically around school zones such as between the Central School and the Preschool, and between King Street and Forbes Street. These pedestrian crossings would increase the safety of all kids during school hours, as well as protect other community members such as our senior citizens. For example, a zebra crossing connecting the Central School and the Preschool would ensure the safety of the preschoolers who get off and on their buses at the school and have to cross the road during the busy drop-off and pick-up times.
Secondly, now that we are no longer in drought, guttering is needed at the front of the preschool. This is because the area becomes boggy when it rains, making it difficult for the preschoolers to get on and off the buses. In order to improve the health and safety of our preschoolers, the addition of a curb and guttering at the front of the preschool would be beneficial.
In Yeovil, many kids ride their bikes along the roads, and we are concerned about their safety. We would like to come up with a solution to draw them away from the busy roads. Firstly, additional updated paths would be beneficial. Not only would these encourage kids to use them, but would also create even and level paths, eliminating trip hazards. This would protect our high elderly population in Yeovil. For example, new paths along the streets of St Columba's and the UPA extending towards the centre of town would be extremely beneficial.
Another way of protecting our high population of kids who rides bike would be the addition of a BMX track. A designated dirt area with a track would draw many kids' attention, resulting in an increase in the physical activity of the youth of our town and decreasing the chance of accidents and the number of youth riding on the road.
On behalf of the Yeovil community, we would like to thank you for listening to and considering our ideas. The addition of pedestrian crossings, guttering in front of the preschool, improved walkways, and a BMX track would all increase the safety of our community members, as well as encourage us to take pride in our town, Yeovil, the greatest little town in the Central West. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now call Mylong Central School, Maddie Hogan and Abby Quinn to come forward, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Councillor. I'm Abby Quinn and with me is Maddie Hogan. We would like to thank you for the opportunity to discuss our ideas with you today. We would also both like to acknowledge that we are surrounded on Wiradjuri land. As only 11% of Australians live in rural townships, we recognise that as young people we have a very different experience growing up as many of our city counterparts. The experiences of last year especially reminded us of how lucky we are to have the freedoms and room to move around that we do in Cabonne, as well as the connections to family and friends that live in our communities. To gain a sense of how students feel at Mylong Central School, we surveyed the bulk of the school community from Year 7 to 12. What we found was a group of people who felt very lucky to have the experiences that we do growing up in a small country town. These included the quiet, wide-open spaces, the chance to spend free time riding a motorbike or horse, and the fact that most have family that live nearby.
All the same, a lot of our respondents also found it hard to make the most of the opportunities that towns like Orange offer due to a lack of travel services, especially for those of us who aren't yet to get our licences, and lack of activities available depending on our interests and hobbies. Our students are huge on their sports and the chance to get outside to be a part of a team. Many student surveys said they would like to see a broader range of sporting opportunities and facilities available to minimise the time and money spent by local families. While the new hockey fields have been a great resource for players, our netball players are, for instance, still needing to travel to Orange and Dubbo to join teams and play competitively.
Without regular transport services available outside our school hours, extra pressure is placed on parents to provide this, especially if they already work somewhere like Orange and don't get home inside the hours when training or weekday matches are on. While we aren't suggesting that council put on a daily service, it might help families out to put on a regular weekly service that could be used by our younger students. Council could look into the need for this, including during the school holidays when the youth of Molong might want to get to other larger towns to attend appointments, shop, study, or go somewhere like the movies, for instance. It is also important that all young people, we have the chance to express and celebrate our talents and diversity, as well as the opportunity to get together and socialise outside of school and work. It would be great to see more youth-centred events, perhaps during Youth Week, where young people in town could attend workshops, enjoy youth bands and discos, or perhaps learn a new skill. Providing greater access to a range of activities not currently available in our hometown would help to minimise the sense of isolation that some youth feel at times and make us feel more independent and confident in our abilities as we develop into young adults in our community. Thank you for listening.
Thank you also to Molong. Finally, thank you all for giving up your time to come and present your ideas to council. All fantastic ideas and suggestions, and let me tell you that council does appreciate your input and we take your ideas very seriously. So thank you once again for coming along today. Put your hands together again. Thank you. All right, item 4, the mayoral minute. I'll move that, and I've tabled a report. Does anybody else have anything for the mayoral minute? You, Mayor Jones.
Yeah, if I could just table a report, please, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Weaver.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I haven't tabled in a report, but I would just like to express my thanks to the Balloon Challenge, to the people who worked through the Balloon Challenge and the committee that ran it. An incredible event. Followed the next weekend by the Rugby League 100 years with the Tigers celebration. A huge amount of people in town. And the Tractathon, which raised money for Little Wings. I mean, our little towns are incredible. You go from Canowindra and then you go to Eugowra for the murals and wonderful days they had out there. And the people come to see the little towns, and I think that's wonderful for all the towns in our shire.
Exactly, well said. Anybody else for the mayoral minute? Councillor Batten.
I table a report just briefly acknowledging 2 meetings that I attended, Mr. Mayor, the Yeovil Progress Association on the 11th of this month, and just report that Yeovil, as you've heard from the students earlier, is quite upbeat and very wanted me to express to the council thanks for the hall upgrade and also the progress with the Oval. That they're very, very happy, and it's reflected in the spirit of the town very much so. That there's a real move in that town, much more upbeat. It's also reflected in the younger age group that's now connecting with the Oval Progress Association. Acknowledge that Councillor Davison was at that meeting with me as well to see that, and also our lead of community and economy. The second meeting was the Canobolas Zone Bushfire Liaison Committee meeting, which I attended with our Deputy General Manager Infrastructure. And again, the team there is pretty happy with the engagement with the Mod Council. So well done to the team.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Just on your comment on the hall, we were at Manildra Hall on a couple of Wednesdays ago, and it was nice and warm in there from the air conditioning upgrade too. It was lovely. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 5 is Committee of the Whole. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, second by Councillor Trevors. Does anybody have anything for the Committee of the Whole? No? Well, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. I was looking up there. I don't think there was any there, was there? Councillor Newsom, you still with us?
Yes, I am. Oh, yes.
Yep. Item 6, grouping of report adoption. Could I have somebody move that?
I'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Durkin, seconded by Councillor Trevors. We're moving item 7 to 10. Everybody happy with that? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. To item 11 is the quarterly budget review. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Trevors, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Any discussion on that at all? All happy? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour?
All right.
Against? That's carried. Item 12 is 2021 local government elections. Conduct of a poll. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Durkin, seconded by Councillor Mullins. Any questions on that at all?
Have we formulated any questions for this poll?
No, it's just been put in there just in case that we do formulate a question. And
that's good, thank you.
There was a question of, is there a cost to that? And I'd throw over to the Deputy General Manager. And we'll take that on notice to see whether there is a cost involved in that, us just doing a resolution for it.
Mr Mayor, the only reason I raise it is we need to get the questions right, because the last time we asked the electors
absolutely
to vote on something, they got it all wrong. So we be careful. Thank you.
Yep. All right, everybody okay with that? I'll put that. All those in favour?
All right.
Against? That's carried. Item 13 is Central New South Wales Joint Organisation Electricity Procurement. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jones. Any discussion on that at all? No, I'll put that. All those in favour?
All right.
Against? That's carried. Item 14, remote meeting attendance update to the Code of Meeting Practice. I'd say that'd be moved by Councillor Newsom.
Thank you. I will do that.
Seconded by Councillor Durkin. Any discussion on that? I'll put that. All those in favour?
All right.
Against? That's carried. Item 15, Local Government Remuneration Tribunal. Could I have a move for that, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Trevors. Any discussion on that, apart from it not being enough, but anyway? I'll put that. All those in favour?
All right.
Against? That's carried. Item 16, Molong out of school hours care. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Travers, second by Deputy Mayor Jones. Any discussion on that at all? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Item 17 is, I'm missing off one, is the young people to address the council meeting, which we just had. Can I have a mover of that, please? Moved by Councillor Durkin, second by Councillor Oldham. Discussion was that it was a very good, I think a very good presentation by the school students, with some great ideas, as I mentioned, and it's very welcoming, actually.
Mr Mayor, isn't it nice to hear young people stand up and talk and be so clear and concise in what they say?
Yep.
Very good.
Yep. Any other comments or discussion? Councillor Batten.
Just flagged that within that group, pretty obvious, Mr Mayor, that we have some potential youth ambassadors for Australia Day next year. So if we make note of the names of the 5 young people who, was it 6 young people, I should say, that spoke.
Yep. Any further discussion? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 18 is requests for donation. Mover, please. Moved by Councillor Travers, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Any dramas with that?
No.
One's retrospective in there, aren't they? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Item 19 is Age of Fishers Museum transition. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Oldham. Any discussion on that at all? Oh, I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Community Assistance Program 2020-21, Round 2. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Mullins, seconded by Councillor Batten. Any discussion on that at all? Councillor Mullins.
No, just to mention, remember the yarn market bid for a telephone book was quite an amount of money at the last meeting, and we had it deferred, and that report is accurate now, and I can assure you that it'll even be better than they first thought, but I think it should be supported.
Yep. Any further discussion at all? No. I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Item 21 is the Local Traffic Committee meeting, May 2021. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Travers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jones. Any discussion on that at all? Nope. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 22 is the 2021 Local Roads Congress. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Weaver. All right. We have to have a resolution for somebody to attend that. Considering this is at Parliament House, I would like to go to this, take some opportunities to knock on doors if possible. And the General Manager would go along with me, I'd imagine. So is everybody okay with that? All right,
Yes.
I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Item 23 is the Local Government New South Wales 2021 Water Management Conference. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Travers. At this stage, Matt is going to attend that, and given it's a fairly important subject. I probably would go along myself, but I'll also put the Deputy Mayor on standby if I can't go, if everybody's happy with that. Yep. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Item 24 is the request for donation equivalent to rent of part of grassed area at the rear of 17 Main Street, Kewdale, being the Kewdale Hall. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Jones, seconded by Councillor Travers. Any discussion on that at all?
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to say is that it's good to see that land that isn't being used at the present time can be given to the Children's Community Centre for their use.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 25 is the modification of development consent DA 2019-0169, demolition, service station and business identification signature 19 to 23 Gaskell Street, Canowindra. Councillor Walker has declared interest and is leaving the room. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Now, I was just going to ask the Deputy GM to give a little short overview of the modification.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The application before you is a modification, so you'll recall that Council has previously dealt with this as a development consent issued for a proposal in Gaskell Street. Before you is a modification that has 4 minor elements to it, and it's probably just worthwhile to keep in mind that when you're dealing with a modification, you can only assess on the information of the modification in front of you. You can't retrospectively go back and re-examine elements of the development application or the concerns of the community from the original DA. So it's merit-based on the change that's in front of you at the moment. So that involves an internal layout of changes to the sales building with no increase in the floor area, a relocation of the underground petroleum storage systems to accommodate an underground on-site stormwater detention tank that's been required as part of the development, a colorbond fence along a part of a boundary, and a change not to increase the overall footprint of the development but to alter the components within it slightly to change a space that had been shown for open space into a storage area for office supplies, witches' hats, and amenity stock. So none of those elements actually change the scale of the development. It doesn't increase the capacity of the site. It doesn't increase traffic, operating hours, or any of those key considerations. There are set parameters within the Planning Act to determine whether or not an application is a modification or whether it should be a whole new application. And these 4 changes, as identified, pass that test, that they are minor in their nature and they don't increase the overall scale or operation capacity of the development. You will note that some of the submissions have come in, again raising their concerns about the overall development. And whilst we appreciate the input from the community on that, before you today is the modification, and you're asked to assess that based only on that component. Thank you.
Any further discussion on that at all? No? Okay, this is a division, so I'll need a show of hands. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Yep. So that's carried. Item... Oh, Councillor Walker's back. Councillor Walker, that was, item 25 was passed as per the recommendation, unanimously.
Thank you.
Item 26 is questions for next meeting. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Durkin. Does anybody have any questions for next meeting? Nothing? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 27 is business paper items for noting. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Durkin, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Does anybody wish to call out any items from the noting papers? Councillor Batten.
I'd just like to express my thanks to the Deputy General Manager of Cavon Services for the report on the farm stay and amendments to accommodation, and as I requested at the last meeting, so very comprehensive, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the department leader.
Does anybody wish to call any items out? Anything else? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour?
Right.
Against? That's carried. Item 28 is matters of urgency. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Trevors. Does anybody have any urgent matters? Nope. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 29 is the Committee of the Whole section of the meeting. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Durkin, seconded by Councillor Weaver. We have nothing for Committee of the Whole, so I'll put that. All those in favour?
Right.
Against? That is carried. All right, so we'll move